We sat down with the chief commercial officer of a leading company that collects music royalties to create a solution that allows artists to get paid in a day instead of a year. And we did all of that within just 30 minutes. Here's how it went. Michiel, you've been working with BumaStemra now for over 10 years.
Yes, that's correct.
BumaStemra is the collecting society in Dutch, the Dutch collecting society in Netherlands. And you now in the role of a CCO, overseeing commercial strategy as well as partnerships and also digital licensing.
Yeah.
What is the challenge that you brought to us today?
Well, there are many we face, and I decided to choose one, and that is the challenge that we find ourselves in processes that are based on age-old processes that stem from the age where we collected money for the songs that have been used on CDs or vinyl, if you will. But if you look at the way we as an industry do that, we can do it much faster. So where typically a composer has to wait for several months at least, if not longer, to get paid for his or her song. We think it should be possible if your song is played on Sunday, you should be paid on Monday. That's our challenge.
So the challenge is, it's being played on Sunday, you get paid on Monday.
Yeah.
We face this challenge particularly with streaming platforms. Obviously, that's one use case for streaming platforms. Is there beyond this another use case where you see a similar problem?
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, live events and so on.
Yeah.
Where it's an even bigger gap to getting paid.
I think that's also very true. Of course, if you look at that, if you played your song, for example, in Berlin as a Dutch artist, why should you have to wait so long? And let me be very clear. We are making very big steps in that regard. Also, I think we as BumaStemra are on the forefront of making it much more faster, speeding it up, and building quality with the systems we have in place. But still, we can improve that. But you're right. For as we call it, the offline market, there we have the great thing that we work together with our sister societies, as we call it. For example, GEMA in Germany. We have a great relationship with them, and it makes a lot of sense to work with each other on that offline market. But that's really a different spectrum compared to online, where we all have our direct deals. So, for example, if Tiesto has been used, whether it is in the Netherlands or in Germany, we collect on behalf of Tiesto for Beatport or Spotify, etc. And the same goes for a German songwriter that's a GEMA member. So that's the difference there. And we think that's also where, for that reason, it's more obvious to dive into the online world.
Let's focus on the streaming, the online streaming for now. Because if we would go out on the streets here in Amsterdam and we would ask someone randomly, they would assume that there should be no problem in streaming a particular song and paying the artist the next day. Where's actually the complexity?
Yeah, where it is, the complexity, well, there are many instances. I think the first step is already an artist is not a composer. So the artist or the record label has created a track using the composition created by the songwriter. And when the track is delivered to the platform, let's say Spotify, more often than not, the data that we need to make the match, as we call it, are not there. Then you find yourself already not in a good position, because you need to find out in the huge volume, the trillions of lines we receive every month. We can dive into that a bit later, maybe, to try to match which songs actually from our rights have been used, where, in which tier, etc. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one challenge in that regards to online streaming. Is there another one that comes up to mind?
Yeah, there are many. So it's the metadata part. It's also so there we have the track being played. Well, let's take it step by step. So first, the track is brought to the platform. It's released, right, and it's being played. And then as it typically works, we and all other societies receive files, many files with many lines, really trillions of lines. So what we receive, it depends, sometimes per quarter, sometimes per month. We receive for each, as we call it, tier. So it's whether it's a duo or a premium or a family or a free tier, per country, we receive a file. This has been used. All these lines have been used, these tracks, and the information that the digital service provider, as we call them, is able to deliver to us. So that's structure, the way we swap files, essentially. That's based, like I said, on the industry that was built on processing the information for CDs. I think if you would have a clean sheet and you would draw a process, you would find something different. So that's the challenge today.
Okay, so now we're gonna head over to the solution ideation. We're gonna start our timers now, and we're gonna have 30 minutes to build that solution in real time. So when in parallel we gave in that challenge that we just been talking through, we already came up with a few solution ideas. Before we discuss them, is there anything that you've been thinking about as we've been talking about it, where you would say like that would be a game changer?
I think maybe also have to finish the part on what happens with. So we receive the file. So what we do after that, is we send back our claims to Spotify or Beatport or iTunes, etc. So we send the file back. This is the work we claim. We identified that this track belongs to this song, and we represent that song. We claim that portion of the value. I think the first challenge it will be to determine the value. So typically the value is being determined by a sort of greater of model, where we have a minimum per subscriber per month and a percentage of revenue, around 15%, give or take. So the first challenge will be how to determine a value where you have this value that's based on a monthly basis. That will be the first real true challenge, really.
Determining the value.
Yeah, because it's in the current licensing structures, it's based on a monthly value, based on the percentage and the minimum, as I described. And the second challenge will be, and I'm just a CCO, former lawyer, I'm not a technical expert, but I would really love to be able to use APIs or that kind of stuff rather than having to swap very huge files and having to be processed. Can we have a sort of maybe even real-time information we can use to determine the usage of our repertoire and be much faster in doing that. And I think the third challenge is, because we find ourselves as BumaStemra, this is the promotion part for BumaStemra. I'm 100% sure that we have the best system in the world. We use a system called Salt, and that's built by people that understand tech and music industry. But we are restrained because the system not only needs to work for BumaStemra, it needs to work for all licensors, for all publishers, etc.
So the cross-territory interpretability is key.
But cross-territory, that is, in our example, we do it cross-territory, but it has to work for Buma, it has to work for Gema. Well, Gema also has an outsourcing partner that's highly qualified. But the current problem is that the weakest party in the chain determines the quality we all can do. So if we come up with a modern solution, it needs to work for all of us. So there needs to be a sort of standardization in that regard, if you will. And like in many industries, you always find that people always agree that we should standardize. But then the second question comes, okay, which standards shall we use? And then the agreement falls down. Then everyone thinks their own is, of course, the best. So how to say, okay, this is the way we do it. And of course, Spotify and the likes are also capable of doing this. But they have the challenge in, okay, it not only has to work for Buma and the other licensors that use the system that we have chosen, and there are other options in the market too, but it needs to work for all of us.
And in this existing process, how do you actually receive those data? Yeah, is it
we receive it. I think it's in XML files. It's
XML?
it's a DDEX files. That's a standard we use. But there are many varieties there. So there are formal standards, and then you find yourself when you have negotiated a deal with the DSP that there is a variation to that standard when you want to set up a structure that works for that specific DSP.
And is it sent to you in bulks? A couple?
Yeah. So
every other week or?
Every, like I said, it depends. Sometimes per month, sometimes per quarter. And for example, so we have a deal with a digital service provider for 150 countries. So we will receive, and they have a free tier, and they have a premium tier, and a duo tier, and a student tier. So we will receive 150 times 4 files per month that we all need to process because they all have their own value.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
A free tier has a different value than a premium tier, and the free tier in Belgium might have a different value than the free tier in Germany. So for each tier we have to calculate the value and determine the money
extra
that
layer.
our songs. What is our market share in that tier, in that month, in that country, and then determine what they owe us. Yeah.
So let's actually talk about the first key feature.
And one question. So I'm trying to imagine how to automate this process.
Yeah.
So if we automate basically the transfer of these files or in any other way, the claiming process is still going to be there, right? Like even if you have everything automated, you still have to claim what you need.
And the claiming is, by the way, is also at our side is also fully almost fully automated.
Okay.
Yeah. So
can you explain how?
So what we do is we have all criteria. We put that in our matching engine. It's called Salt Royalties, and that starts a claiming and on all kinds of identifiers. We have a sort of how certain are we that this is actually a match, as we call it. So how certain are we that this is the song we seek.
So it's basically going through the files and give you potential matches, and you have to either confirm.
And when it meets, let's say 90 or 95% certainty threshold, it's automated match, and of course also based on value, we have our quality checks, etc. And then sometimes because of the lack of information in the metadata, then we have a manual matching team that determines that.
There's obviously a first potential that we automate that kind of matching.
I wouldn't go too much into that matching because that's the side. I'm like I said, I'm confident that we got that covered. It's really about because that will not speed up the process. We are able we can at a blink of an eye can match. So if we use AWS, if AWS is there,
solved.
If there's no fallout of AWS, sorry. At the time of recording, there was a fallout yesterday, I think, but that didn't hurt us, by the way. But that's the part that I'm quite confident that we are there and we are fast. But the thing we can be much faster is that now we receive the file months later after the usage.
Where's the key challenge there? Because the first obvious solution would be to create a real-time data injection.
Yeah, so I would say that. I think that's the true. So I see two challenges there. One is get a much faster insight in the usage rather than having to rely on a file.
Is it gatekeeping from the
No, it's not.
platforms?
No, that's not. It's really that. That the DSPs find themselves also in a situation where they have to accommodate the average or the ones that can't keep up at what technically is possible. But it's not an unwillingness to share it faster.
Okay, because Hazem, that could be certainly an interesting solution to build this real-time data ingestion.
I think that's the main thing we're gonna try to work on.
I think so. That will be my challenge. So the real-time data ingestion, and second to that, and that's the one I'm struggling with a bit. So I'm really I'm hopeful. Is that how then to determine the value? Because also you need to determine the value in a different way than we are used to, because you're not you can't really determine the value. It's not a per play rate we use. It's a percentage because of the business model these services have. You pay a certain amount per month. How to determine the value?
So essentially, coming up with a model for instant royalty calculation.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that helps us to come up with a rule-based system to calculate shares and also immediate verification and then also the usage.
The calculation of shares, I would not. That's not in scope, I would say.
Okay,
that's our part.
Yeah.
So we have to determine based on our registrations what is our share. But I think the purpose of the challenge is really a faster insight in the data, real time, and how to do the royalty calculation in that model. Yeah.
And then the second part is how do you actually do the payouts at the moment to the artist? Is it something that you then do on a quarterly basis, or in what intervals?
Good question. That comes well. Currently, we do it on a quarterly basis. We also see a trend that's being done on a monthly basis. But if I can dream out loud a bit, and I think this is the opportunity where I can, then I would say that in an ideal world, our rights holders would be able to determine themselves how fast they want to be. So they have a real-time insights in how much money they are entitled to. And then they can push it on a button and we can release the funds.
So Hazem, in this case, we could come up with a solution like an escrow, a smart escrow, an account for each of these users in that sense. So it could be a composer or an artist. And in this escrow, we have a sort of automated micropayment release that can take place.
Okay, just to challenge this, I think would make more sense to keep it into collecting societies, right? Like the payment would go directly to the other collecting society instead of the artist or the composer themselves, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a valid point. Why should the money flow via us and not directly to ours? I think because we represent. That comes to the $1 million question. Why are there CMOs anyway in these areas? And you see that in every disruption, there's always this pressure on the middleman. And I think that makes sense. And I think our added value to songwriters is that we, in a way, we form a union. So we negotiate fiercely with our DSPs, and we like them. We have partnerships with them, but we also have very tense negotiations to make the best possible deals in the interest of these writers. And also, from a processing perspective, it makes much more sense also for DSPs. So in the past, you have seen some developments where DSPs have set up a process where independent songwriters could also directly apply to these DSPs, but they decided that's not their job. That's not. So they really like us to represent them and let us explain how it works and represent them.
We have about half of the time left. What I'm wondering right now is whether this solution is something that is user-facing, meaning that this is something that is actually a software that can be used by your members, or whether we should focus on building sort of a backend engine that you can plug into your existing system.
I think the latter. More the backend system.
So
between the DSPs and the rights and the source.
So Hazem, let's focus on coming up with a sort of backend solution that can be sort of a backend plug and play solution that ideally orchestrates and not only serves for you as BumaStemra, but also for other collecting societies.
Yeah, of course. Then it can only work if we are able to achieve that.
Exactly, where it's super focused on solving these technical challenges, so that each of these collecting societies can actually plug it into their existing system, and maybe implement a feature that allows these instant payouts. Because that, in an ideal world, because that's not to forget about, the end goal that me as an artist or as a composer, I want to know, okay, yesterday I had 150 million streams, and today or tomorrow I can technically get paid out for those.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. True.
So, and to make this possible, if we come up with such a backend engine, this system that we plug in, then there would also obviously be on your end potentially some work required into your existing. I don't know if you have an app. Maybe you have an app for your members. This becomes also reflected in the app and on the front end.
We have a member environment, my BumaStemra. So that's where we.
So we could sort of indicate in your existing app that this is a new solution that is powered by, however we name this product. So it's powered by, and almost similar to how we use payment infrastructure like Stripe. We could implement a similar payment structure for these payouts from streaming platforms. That it's a service that you just integrate, and you just have to install one code snippet into your existing application for your members. And from there, it's automized, and it's just an option that they can use, and that is plugged in.
It makes much sense.
Okay, because then it becomes very focused on solving actually the technical problems, and we don't necessarily need to build new interfaces around it, but we rather focus on providing the backbone, the infrastructure that allows these almost real-time transactions and payouts. I had another note here from our prompt where we inserted this challenge. We discussed cross-territory compliance in a way, which is a topic. How about the topic of, the payment experience? We covered it in a way that it just becomes sort of integrated and embedded. Obviously, there's some.
We still haven't, in my view, covered the how to determine the value. But maybe that's something I need to figure out myself. But that's also, like I said, that's also something that's puzzling me. So we get a portion of the revenue per month, and we need to be able to. So in order for us to be able to pay out, we need to have been paid out. We're not a bank. So we need to have a structure where we are able to determine the value on a daily basis with the DSPs, get paid on a daily basis or whatever, and then that allows us to pay out our rights holders.
So that's what we sort of refer to the royalty calculation model in a way.
That's true.
On your end, there's probably the main delay with the streaming platforms for you to get paid and then to distribute it.
We'll get the, as we call it, the usage. Then we send back what's ours, what do we represent. Then we and also with our invoice, and the invoice get paid, and that allows us to from that same data we are able to process, as we call it, a distribution file. So we are able to determine, okay, so we have been paid this amount, and that was for these and these songwriters and these and these publishers in this order. So we are able to pay them.
And the delay for you to get paid or to get actually the royalties from the streaming platforms, that's the main delay that then causes you to actually pass it on to your members. I assume.
Because there's already a delay in insights in what has actually been used. A delay in us sending back, well, this is our claim on that, this is our portion, if you will. And then, of course, receiving the payment that's for that market share we claim.
So, Hazem, to what extent did you already consider the side of streaming platforms? Because obviously that's an integral part to make this payment infrastructure work is that we have great close ties to these streaming platforms, and that we find a technical solution with them to determine these streams and values. To what extent did you consider this already?
To be fair, I didn't consider it on the idea that it's already included in the data that the collecting society would pass to another collecting society. Is that correct? Like, is the online streaming already implemented in the files and in this process already, or should it be something extra?
Well, we don't send it to the other societies. We send it to our claims. We send them for the online. We send them. We have direct deals. We all have direct deals. Almost all of us. So we send it directly to the DSP.
Okay. So you would see something like this also adding value, like adding tracking to a streaming platform or adding some metric from all the streaming platforms? You see something adding value from this?
I think. Well, now you mention. I think also there are. I'm not that much in the know on the details, but tools like Chartmetric or Fiberrate, if you use that type of tools and are able to tag your repertoire in that could also already be something that you can sort of faster in predicting.
Yeah, maybe it would help actually with the claiming process.
Yeah, claiming and also predicting maybe.
Predicting?
Yeah. So maybe if the first options play Monday, play Sunday, pay Monday is not achievable, then at least you will be able to predict faster than you currently are how much your writers will be out, because you have from another source you have faster insights in that.
I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm still thinking about the streaming platform, or in plural, the streaming platforms. It all depends on how fast we can get accurate data.
That's very true. Yeah.
So we have to find a way to get these data in real time, ideally. Because theoretically, there should be no issue with that. Because obviously, when I now stream a song, Spotify knows that I'm streaming this song.
Yeah.
So there should be no issue in getting these information in real time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the challenge is a bit, and maybe I'm a bit picky about it, but they know the track that has been played. They don't necessarily know the song that has been played.
Yeah.
That we are the ones telling them that this track actually is this song.
Yeah.
But after once you have identified it, then.
So this is where you actually have to provide them an insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's on the particular song level. Yeah.
Yeah.
To what extent is this? So that's something that you automatically play back to them.
Yeah. So we in our lingo we call that the CCID.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I always call it the specification of the invoice. So for each line they have sent to us. This track has been played so many times in this tier, a free tier of Duo Tour, etc. In this country, we say, okay, we claim 30% because it has been a co-write between a GEMA writer and a Buma writer, and the Buma writer has a 30% share, so we claim 30% of that usage in that tier, in that month, in that territory, and so on and so on, leading to the amount the DSP owes us.
Let's use the remaining minutes to discuss adoption and ecosystem integration, because as you just mentioned, there might be titles where there's artists and composers involved that are signed with different collecting societies, and then you sort of have to split the cake and see who's getting what. How can we assure that this actually becomes functional? Is it the case that all of these collecting societies would have to be part of it? Would there already be a value in just having BumaStemra on there and using it as a proof point to GEMA and other collecting societies to say like, hey, we've seen a great case for BumaStemra. We managed to cut down the time by 80% and made these processes so much easier. What's your perspective on this?
I think there's a big need for standardization to the level that modern technology would enable us together. I think also, by the way, we are making steps in that direction. But yeah, I still think there's a lot to be done in that regard. Yeah.
But let's assume you are the first that start using this infrastructure. Would there already be a value if it's just you, or is there sort of a blocker if none of the other collecting societies?
I'm not sure. I think the hurdle could be that it wouldn't work from a DSP perspective if we would be the only one. So you need to sort of get everyone on that same page. That we all rely on the same systems, but at the end of the day, that they're all capable of handling it this way.
Yeah. So are you now using all the same system?
We're not using the same system, but we are using the same exchange of processes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are all able to ingest the same Spotify or Apple or YouTube or Meta or TikTok files, and we send back our files to all these DSPs.
So, I mean, what we could do is we could stick to that same process and integrate it in that infrastructure so that for the collecting societies that are not, that haven't adopted to this infrastructure yet, they still get it in the format they would have received it previously from you. But now it's not you directly sending it, you do it actually through that infrastructure. So for them, there's no difference, but for you, there's a big difference.
Yeah, I think that might be the most important point we make today. I think because let's also face it. All collective societies, we do great work, and if they weren't there, you should start the network today. But we also have a history of 100-year-old or more than 100-year-old monopolistic organizations. So we are a big believer in co-opetition. We fundamentally work together with GEMA, with PRS, SM, etc. We also think it's very healthy that we challenge each other. And this model could very much work like that. If the more progressive societies stand out in quality and services they are able to offer to their members, that will lead to a situation where the business savvy writers or the managers or publishers say, hey, you have to go to Buma or GEMA because they are on it. They understand the new world. They are able to pay faster and bring more value. But you at this stage, you don't rule out the others. They are also still able to process, but they will be the ones that are lagging a bit in paying later, etc. And I think that's a very healthy balance, actually, in that situation. Yeah.
It is. We have 3 minutes left.
Okay.
Hazem, is there something that would help you in terms of input to wrap it up on time?
No, I have everything now set. I'm just trying to wrap up a couple things. So.
Okay.
Very curious.
Yeah. Sure. All right. So then I will quickly check what we got out of our prompts. If there's anything that we can still consider. Because for me, actually, this whole topic around adoption and how we integrate it into the ecosystem, it's been super interesting to discuss. And this is where I see that we can, as you mentioned, create this healthy competition. And also starting ideally a co-innovation process in that sense. And if we manage to make that payment infrastructure work without having all of the collecting societies relying on that system, then I see a great go-to-market potential. Because obviously it's hard to get the buy-in from all of them at the same time. That's almost impossible. So
that's true.
One of the key aspects of the solution, that we allow adoption for these societies one after another, so that we start with you. GEMA might knock on the doors and be like, hey, we also want to use that infrastructure because it seems like such a smooth process now for BumaStemra. So this is something that I would really consider when we launch such a solution, that we make a super easy adoption process so that for BumaStemra it becomes almost no additional effort to adopt to that payment infrastructure, because that's something that we want to make possible with almost of a click of a button, that for you team it doesn't create effort of migrating over months, it's ideally something that can take place within a day, so that we really focus on finding a super lean process of onboarding a collecting society to that infrastructure, almost with a click of a button. At the same time, allowed the other collecting societies that you have to interact with and integrate in this process, that for them it doesn't require change, but at the same time they sort of get aware that you're using it and that they also have an interest in adapting to it as well. That's one of the key points to actually successfully launch such a solution and bring it to the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds exciting. Yeah.
Good. The timer is stopping in 5 seconds. We will hear it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. I just let the thing run, finish now, and then I can present it. So 1 minute.
Good. Hazem will come over to us now.
So this is the landing page. It's basically going to illustrate all the features we have. The main thing, basically. Some different explanations about the different features. And the main thing is here, basically a comparison between traditional way and the new way. And you can see, basically, it's really illustrating the difference there.
So we focus purely on the time, the delayed payouts, and tap into that and say, okay, it's no longer months, it's within days.
So this is a landing page. It's illustrating everything, but let's get to the real things. So this is just now for display. Okay, so this is basically just an overview where we can see the payments we have already done, the pending ones, the artists, and which is the main metric. Now we have the average waiting time for the processing the payments.
I was also, I had to comment, right? If
Definitely.
If you want to, this is really a sensitive subject for writers. Don't call them artists. An artist is someone that performs the song. And these artists, sometimes it's the same person, actually. So I get it why I think I would use the term myself if I wasn't in the industry. But these are the silent forces behind the great artists.
Makes sense, yeah.
So we call them songwriters or writers, composers, text writers,
So yeah, this would be just an overview, but the main thing here is what I called integration wizard. And when you go in here, you basically, and this is the big idea. So you want to have it as easy as possible to plug and play in any system, and there are going to be like multiple different systems. So the best way to go with it is to offer different ways, so everyone can choose the method. And the best way, where you see it says recommended here, is API integration. And when you go there, you already can start setting up, let's say, for Gamma, for example, you go in here, generate API key, put your webhook. It even walks you through the code, how to integrate into your own system, give you different samples here, the way you choose how you want to do it. Continue to testing, or we can also check the different methods. If you want to still keep your own way, but at least accelerate the file upload, you can go with the second method. And this would be basically either throwing your files in here, and it also shows you the format requirements, or you can also have scheduled uploads. This way, it's already uploading every.
That's, for example, that's the step we took, moving from the system we did use in the past and the new system we had. So in the past, it had to be was a manual effort that someone really had to. Okay, here's the file on the FTP server. I have to get it, and I have a bank to bring it here, and we have fully automated that part, for example.
So this goes with the same idea.
The real value is in the first portion, but the breakthrough is that you allow parties to choose.
And this actually, even the third version, I even have a third method here, which is instead of even uploading your files, you just connect it to wherever storage you have, and it just pulls it from your own thing. So you don't even have to do any new integration or changes, even like scheduling. So you just go here, connect your own provider, and we just like pull it and we treat it basically. So this is the main feature we have. And of course it shows you the comparison, the data latency and all the different things.
I'm impressed. Wow.
So what would be next steps in terms of actually developing this into a solution that we can actually bring to the market?
So basically, this is a proof of concept of the whole idea that we talked about. Next steps would be implementing this, creating the whole infrastructure for this. It's going to be basically something big, but we already have the pillars that we're going to build on. So this is proof of concept, shows how it's going to look, how it's going to, people can give feedback, we can iterate on this, and then we get to implementation.
Where do you see the biggest technical challenge in actually creating, for example, a functional API?
I don't see really technical challenge here. The challenge is more convincing people to use this.
Yeah.
That's why I went here, for example, with different methods. We can even build more on this. I don't know if they have their own systems, create something that already plugs into their system, so there's zero efforts. This is where I see the challenge, creating more options.
I see challenges in regards to API around convincing these streaming platforms to provide the data and actually build some sort of data pipeline.
Yeah, to be fair, some of this data is already public. You don't need partnerships to get this data. So depends which data we're talking about. So you can already get the bulk of it from public sources. And then if you need something else, you can also go with partnership because they also...
At the end of the day, we just want to make sure, that's why I've been bringing it up, that the data is accurate. For example, if we would rely on chart metrics, they might be off. And obviously we don't want to do payouts for... inaccurate data.
I agree with you. I mean, DSPs, many DSPs already have APIs in place. So it would be, are those already on the level we need, or do they need some tweaking? But I think that's a good start to look at.
So here you gave an overview of platform connections.
Yeah, this I went with the idea that we had at the end, basically.
You covered that in the 30 minutes here?
Yeah, this is a proof of concept. We just try to get as much done as possible so we can validate basically and iterate on it. But yeah, that's the idea. So yeah, just went here with integrating third-party streaming services. And
but I agree with you. I think convincing people to use it. But I think the beauty of it is it's not a showstopper if you can't convince everyone in at the first stage, because that's typically something that
exactly
down.
That's why it was so important for me to emphasize how we create that adoption and drive an ecosystem that is being established around such an payment infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, next step also something I see would be useful is to create, to use AI more into this, what we call integration wizard, to have some sort of agent that would analyze the system or the structure that you have already in place and suggest already, so it makes it way easier.
It's, of course, it's a no-brainer. And to be honest, we are also working, of course, we are using AI for the matching. We use generative AI to enable us to do that in the trillions of lines we receive.
Where would we actually consider in that step the matching? Is it through
the matching would be for the claiming process, I assume. And since you said it's not really the challenge, you're already working on this, that's why I didn't want to focus on this.
I think that's already...
Do you think that applies? I mean, I'm certain that applies also to other collecting societies, that they have a sort of a matching process in place.
And that's also something that's, there are also some discussions. Some say that's a commodity. We take the view that it's also something that can bring value if you do that. So I think we were one of the first to benchmark actually how good different suppliers are in that matching area.
One of the next steps that's related to the actual user interface is to come up with a solution on how this is being integrated, for example, in the BumaStemra members app, or however you call it.
It would be something different. Of course, that's important, because then the true value is brought to the rights holder. So it's crucial.
If I make this comparison again with Stripe as a payment infrastructure provider, they have the widget, and you just integrate it with a code snippet almost. So I would I see similar potential for
well, that's also a very interesting area to look at. I think it would be
that we then next step focus on how this is being presented to user, with you having almost no effort on your end.
Yeah, well, that sounds interesting, and that's an area that I haven't paid much attention to before, and so that's an interesting insight for me to take back also from this conversation.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Well done. I'm impressed. How? Yeah.
Thanks for your input.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right. Okay, so that's it for this episode. You can check out our prototype through the link in the description. And of course, we'd like to know from you how you would have solved this challenge.